joining us in a little bit. So before we get this thing kicked off, we got to talk about what we're going to talk about today, guys. So, before we get it kicking, we're going to check in with last year's winner. There was a little contest last year that Autodesk and Leica partnered on to give out one of my favorite tools, the BLK 360. So we're going to check in with the winner last year and just find out kind of how that thing went. And then we've got to discuss some new exciting functionality between those two people we just talked about, or two entities we just talked about, Leica and BIM 360. They are always innovating, always amazing us, and they keep a few things up their sleeves for Autodesk University and Connect and Construct. So no surprise there. And then you guys are going to get an inside look from us, the ConTechCrew, Rob McKinney and I, about what we're looking forward to at Connect and Construct. And we're going to bring in some of our friends from Autodesk, like Zach and Josh, to talk about what they're looking forward to. So thanks for the housekeeping. Thanks for joining us, guys. We're so glad you're here today. I am the Iron Man of IT from the ConTechCrew, Jeff Sample, and I'm going to check in now with Alex Schreier. So Alex, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great.
Yeah, so where are you coming at us from right now, bud?
I'm down here in Salt Lake City, Utah. I guess up here if you're in Vegas, but
Up there if you're in Vegas. Now, there's some folks going behind you, and there's a board behind you. Where particularly might you be? Are you on a job site?
I am at the moment. I'm over in Sandy actually, and we're putting up a hospital over here.
So you're out there actually getting the work done. So this BLK 360 that you won last year, you're putting it to use, aren't you? Can you tell everybody who's on about what you might be doing with it?
Yeah, I have been doing actually a lot of residential things. I scan existing homes, and I'll take those existing homes with whoever's living there and I'll take it from each recap, take it over to Revit, and then I'll model their idea of what they want to do to remodel their house or take a wall out and see if it's something that's really worth it to them in the end. And then also along the lines of just loving the scanner and seeing all these things, I may have scanned parts of my neighborhood.
So I love that you scan parts of your neighborhood. That's when that you really kind of ingrained it into your DNA. But to kind of jump back onto that recap and Revit and that pushing around for everybody listening in, how's that really kind of changing the deliverables you have for your customers?
Well, I think it changes the deliverable in the fact that I'm able to kind of show them their existing space plus the change all in one. So I put the scan together with the existing and then the new, and it just changes right in front of them. We can walk through it. They can feel the space. And on top of that, it makes it a lot easier for me to quickly show them something. I can take their home with me while I'm building this model, right? Because I just scanned all of it instead of taking all those measurements, and then bring it back to them as a full model, and it makes it a lot easier, a lot quicker and smoother, and I feel like they get the point rather than just looking at a 2D idea.
Yeah, I mean, for those of us like I'm 2D, I can't read it. It's against my my nature. For whatever reason, I can't read it. And then you bring me the model, and now all of a sudden I have an ability to visualize what it is we're doing. I know you've probably had some customers that have kind of had that same experience. How has that helped you? Can you give us an example of where maybe you've done something where they went, oh, wait a minute, that is not what we wanted to do. However, it might have changed the product itself.
Yeah, I think a couple of simple examples would be one just being an area or a space that the family wanted to get rid of a wall in the middle of their living room and their kitchen because their kitchen was small. It was a pretty big expense, being they'd have to put some supports in there. And I simply just went in there and scanned those rooms, took that home with me, removed those walls, and walked it through with them. And in the end, they decided they probably could keep that wall and just make the opening a little bit bigger, and they'd kind of get that same feel without as much expense, I guess, to their design or to what they wanted to do.
Yeah, so it kind of manages the expectation of the deliverable, but also you're balancing in the cost. So it's giving you both things there that really you can't get. Well, you can get it on 2D plans. Don't get me wrong, because there's a lot of 2D people that start throwing stones at me out there, but it's a lot harder, especially for our customers that don't see it every day, to visualize it. So you gave them a visualization and then allowed them to make a decision that they felt really good about. And I bet you that whole thing worked out pretty well for you.
Oh yeah, I mean it's just a lot better when you can, because I feel like I can, we can picture it, but and the owner kind of feels, they kind of mention that they can picture it, but they really aren't picturing the end result, right? So I'm sure everyone's reached where you design something, they say they like it, it comes out, and it's not exactly how they pictured, right? And I just feel like this is a really good, efficient way of being able to show that customer how to, really what it's going to look like and kind of get
That
rid of that risk, I guess.
Yeah, that risk and that naughty word of rework, man. Nobody likes rework.
Yeah.
Like go back in and put that wall back up. There, you doubled the cost now, and they ended up somewhere where your model really got them. I think we could go on and on. Alex, I could talk to you forever about that part, but I want to talk about this BLK to recap a little bit. And I think it's
Yeah.
really providing some things for you that you can tell everybody about.
Yeah, I've just been, since I got it, I've been so excited about it. It's really impressed me, just how efficient that system works with the BLK and recap, and how you scan it. And I'm on my iPad, I scan it, it comes to my iPad, the first scan shows up. While it's processing, I can start my next scan, and then as soon as I start to get multiple scans, I match them up and register them right there, and don't have to go scan, come back and see if it's all correct and in the right place. I can adjust the scan. So one, it automatically registers the scan and puts them together for you. And it actually does a really good job of that. But two, if it may have read some walls a little different and the scan might be off from where it really was placed, you have that opportunity right there while you're going through your scans to re-register that scan and place it where it really needs to be. So your full scan comes out really clean and crisp.
So you're getting that all done on site without having to run back and forth, fire things up. When are you getting coffee, man? I mean, come on, there's no downtime in that flow there, is there?
No need, it's all exciting, keeps me awake.
I love that real time deal, man. Again, we could keep going, and that's just, I mean, it's just showing the time saved, guys, on how these devices and this software kind of integrated together can really get it going, and then the ability to take it mobile. For me, that's where I've really seen the rubber hit the road as we go more mobile with these solutions. It's really making them come through now. Where do you see this going for you, Alex? I know you've got it now, so you've got some things going, but what's the future look like for you? What do you think the opportunities are to put this thing into the future?
Man, I really started using it for this construction and design, but I really would love to do more 3D printing and CNC ideas, and I've been kind of trying to figure out how to do that, and kind of my strategy of what I'd want to do with the scanner and pulling it into making it an ability, or making it possible for me to make a 3D print out of it, or even just a CNC pattern, with having that scan take a pattern from somewhere or something from, the environment around you or something, and taking that easily into a CNC program and putting it on something for somebody or for myself. So
Yeah, like whether that be, some prefabrication to make a project go faster, or, that's what those
yeah,
CNCs are great is if you come across something that you haven't really seen and you need to, replicate it or recreate it, which, we get the ask for that quite a bit, then, the scanner allows you to get some patterns and may even allow you, to do that with the CNC, right?
yeah, I've actually thought about old old parts, for that matter, for cars or whatever, and maybe I mean, obviously a small market or whatever, but they're not manufactured, not anything, you can't find them anywhere. You get scanner, scan that old part you have that may be broken and fix it in the design and 3D print it, or cut it in the shop with a CNC. So
Right, you cut it in the shop, so you're taking something you might not have been able to get that could have been a stopper, and or also, even just changing it a bit. People don't really technically love all that modernization in the actual final product, but to use the modernization to get the final product to look like the original, I mean, that's priceless, man.
yeah, agreed.
Well, I appreciate your time, Alex. I know you're on a job site there, and so I know we've got to get you back off to your work because we don't like to keep people away. But we really appreciate you joining us and kind of talking about how that product BLK 360 and the software provided from Autodesk has really helped you out. It's great to hear that when somebody gives something like this out, that it actually comes to fruition. It's being used in the field. We get accused of a lot of smoke and mirrors out there, us thought leaders in the world, and this isn't smoke and mirrors, right? This is the real deal.
Oh yeah, I really, you know, I guess I was really excited to go to Autodesk University last year because of, my ideals that I don't believe this is smoke and mirrors. I believe all this is usable and you can certainly um, take it and use it. I do think, there's learning curves for people to get used to the products or different ideas, right? Or there's a lot of people that are willing to collaborate together, even, especially, Autodesk University. I met quite a few people there that have to kind of share those ideas and desires to kind of figure out how to use your software along with others and the scanners. And I just think, they're all usable. You just got to figure out how you want to use it for you and your specific workflow.
That's that's awesome sage advice, man. I couldn't have said it any better, and I don't want to. I like to hear the people in the business that are actually using it talking about it. So, again, man, it was great to see it. Great to see you again. We had the opportunity to interview you last year, so I really appreciate it. That was my first Autodesk, if you didn't know. So we kind of,
No, I
and
didn't know
actually
that.
my first interview of Autodesk. So we kind of got this start together. So it's great to wrap back up with you, man. Enjoy it out there on the job site. Drop us lines. Let us know what you're up to. For everybody out there, that's Alex Schreier. Uh, Great job, buddy, and good to see you. We'll see you again soon, but not to be outdone this year, guys. Autodesk and Leica partnered on that product, on that giveaway last year. But the Autodesk and Leica partnership goes far deeper than that. And this year, they've got some BIM 360 integrations to the Icon Total Stations that, well, I really can't do justice. So I've brought our friends, Zach Crummel and Shane O'Regan, with us to talk about what's new this year for BIM 360 and Leica. So, guys, thank you for joining us. I'm going to drop off and just listen in, guys. I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say. Take it away.
Great. So I'm really excited for Connect and Construct next week. We're going to have the full setup for BIM 360 layout running our new Icon 70 and 80 integration with Leica. We're extremely excited to show that to customers. It's in action, it's live, and I'll pass it to Shannon Troy.
Sure. I would just follow up with we're also very excited about the opportunity to continue to partner with Autodesk and how we reach customers and how we meet them where their current workflow is, and maybe even open up some new possibilities of workflows for them. So it's very exciting for us, and Shane's the brains behind the operation, so I'll let him talk about the nitty gritty of it.
There's a lot of cleverer people than me that are the brains behind it. But no, it's a great partnership that we have. Kind of not only kind of with the layout, but as Alex talked about, just the efficiencies getting from the partnership that we have from the BLK and Recap has been amazing. Even the confidence he's getting, and this is the sort of workflow that we're now bringing across the board with the integration of our new Leica ICR 70 and ICR 80 Icon robotic total stations. These are our latest generation construction robotic total stations. which really help now with this seamless integration with the Autodesk layout. So, especially when we're thinking, that we've got guys out in the field kind of working all day, every day with the instruments, but, maybe we need someone from our BIM team to come out and do a little bit of layout or some QA and QC. They can just pop on site and connect into these new instruments as well. So when, it gives a much better integration between the field and the office as well.
Yeah, and kind of what we looked at with what Alex is doing is he's really capturing the real world and trying to bring it into the design model and into the Autodesk software to create a model from essentially nothing. We're kind of doing the opposite here with layout, is we're taking that model content, that design content, whether it's a Revit model, Navisworks file, even down the road, IFC files, AutoCAD, any of the flavors of AutoCAD, Civil 3D, and connecting that directly to the real world. This is as BIM to field as it gets. And so when we're connecting to this hardware, you truly know that you are building off of that model. So if you're in the coordination process, you're working in Navisworks, or you have a construction model in Revit, you can use that model right then and there and send that out to the field. So it's a little bit different than what Alex is doing with reality capture, but we're taking that model and sending it out to the real world. So extremely excited to talk about more of the workflows for the field. Really, when we look at the workflow from start to finish, it still begins in that design software to begin with. So if we're in Revit, AutoCAD, or Navisworks, Autodesk point layout is still kind of step one in that workflow, where we're predominantly adding points to the model wherever the user needs them. So if we're talking about sleeves, hangers, any mechanical stub-ups or electrical stub-ups, all of the system components we can automatically add points to with Autodesk point layout. So the user is never going in and doing anything manually in the design software. They're really just telling the software, hey, I want to mark concrete, I want to mark our fabrication hangers and our fabrication parts. And we're sending that directly to BIM 360. And actually, we're going to be able to share a little bit of a sneak peek. I don't want to give too much away, so you are forced to come by our booth at Connect and Construct, but we will pull this up here. Let one moment, please. And so this is BIM 360 layout on the Android platform. We are moving this to the Android platform, so this is on your tablet or your Android phone. Open this up, we're looking at BIM 360 document management. You can upload a series of files, Revit, NWC, AutoCAD files. I'm going to open up a Pacific Center model here. This is one of the models we'll use at Connect and Construct for the different workflows for BIM 360. 2D or 3D workflows, you're able to zoom in. So we're kind of in a 2D view here. I'm going to zoom in and look at all of the points that were created in the design software. We are building some of this point creation workflow into model coordination as well. Top right, selecting layout points. You could select issues, RFIs. This will look very similar to issues. And really what we're doing here is just simply getting connected to the hardware. It's taking a grand total of about 5 seconds here to hit connect, scan for that device. You'll see the ICR70 will connect to that Bluetooth device immediately, and then you're ready to work. From there, it's just doing setup, and we're going to get locked. So we just lock to our prism in this workflow. Going to go through a full backsite setup, find our backsite. In the real world, you're going to put your prism and your backsite over that backsite point, finish your setup. We do kind of give the user a warning there saying, hey, you want to go verify some more control points, you're not done yet. But from there, you're ready to do any other workflow out in the field. So this is really cool. You're able to go from the prism to prismless and actually use the laser on the job site. So whether you're using the scope behind the gun itself or a joystick like we just used there, the user is able to collect points that are out of reach or really high up in the building, or verify those points simply with just the laser. So we collected that point with the EDM there, and we can continue our work. So that list also allows us to import CSV files. There's a simple deviation report. So if there's a field deviation, you're able to create an issue right then and there in the app and push that back to your design software or your other project team issues. And then we also are looking at maybe a line offset workflow in here as well. So a lot of the construction workflows that you're used to in terms of staking along a line, doing offsets, all those are built in, and we're making sure we're continuing to add new features for both layout and verification right now. So
Exactly.
that's really, yeah, it's really exciting. I can't wait to get this in the hands of customers next week and start talking about more of these workflows.
Absolutely, and it's it's great. Being connected to the digital world is what we all want. We want less downtime, less problems. And if there are problems, we want to find them early. And by having a really good kind of workflow there, we can do it. But also, we've got the best instruments there to use with it, which means that you have minimal downtime on site. We make sure you're up and running all day, every day. If we do lose lock to the prism, we get you back quickly, easily, and efficiently without you having to think about it. And the benefit of this means that it's a much more seamless workflow for all of our users.
Yeah, and one of the big things is, we currently have our classic iOS version of BIM 360 layout, and that runs the 1560 series icon hardware. And we're also going to support the 70 and 80 on our iOS classic version of layout, which is added value to glue. So that's part of the BIM 360 glue package. So I do want to stress that if this new hardware is available in our current solution as well. So we're making sure that integration isn't just for next gen, it's also available to our customers now, and you guys are using it. We just had that update about 5 days ago, so you'll be able to up and run on your latest and greatest hardware now. The other portion at Connect and Construct, well, actually more for this field workflow, is we've really geared a lot of these steps to a user that hasn't done a survey before. So if you are getting into this workflow for the first time, I really recommend just trying it out because it's not as hard as you think. It's really understanding control points and some of the survey technique. But after that, it's really, essentially kind of a video game. You're following the dotted line, you're trying to get to zero, and you're installing that component or making sure it's in the right spot. So we're really simplifying a lot of these workflows. It's, in my opinion, as easy as it gets to be able to take your model out to the field. And yeah, once again, just excited to see you guys all next week.
That's awesome. Troy, do you want to throw in where you guys will be at AU so folks can come by and talk with you?
Yeah, we'll be at booth B913, and we're excited to be there. We'll have a whole host of folks from the Leica team there supporting, a variety of our products, definitely including the ICR 70 and ICR 80, as well as our reality capture and measuring tools business. So really love to see people come by. It's going to be a great time. Got a great group of people there. The best and brightest will be there. So look forward to seeing everyone.
Now we can't let everybody go. The host is back, and I've got to ask a few questions now that I got to listen to what you guys had to say. So not letting you go that easy. So I kind of really want to talk a little bit about this construction grade total stations. Shane, you were kind of talking about it. I wanted you to expand on it a little bit for those that are listening out there, to Zach's point, that might be kind of new to this workflow. Give me an idea of a little bit of the hardware and kind of how it's evolved a little bit, and why you guys are approaching it this way.
There's many facets of why we're approaching it this way. We want people to work digitally. It's the only way to go. It gives us the best results. It gives us the best confidence. It means that we're going to be quicker. We're going to be more productive. We're going to have less penalties on projects because we're working efficiently with a design model. To work efficiently with a design model, we need to have a good instrument. So our latest robots have been designed, to basically, if you look at it, it looks like an old robot, but it's like a supercar. Under the hood, everything is ramped up. It's quicker, it's leaner. You get less frustrations than you do with when you move back several generations of instruments. One of the little things we have in there is, as we talked about, is not only have we got the greatest lock technology, but also the relock. Construction sites are busy. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of plant, there's a lot of things. If we lose sight of the prism, we want to get it back as quick as possible, but we want to do it without you pressing the button. We want to take care of it. You just focus on the tasks that you want to do. This is also the same when you're working in different environmental conditions. It might be sunny, rainy, cloudy. Some parts, it's going to be all of the above in one day. You don't need to think about settings to get the best out of your instruments. We take care of that for you. And as all of these little things mean you focus on the task you want to do and not worry about how you need to configure something.
That's awesome. You're reducing all the noise and accounting for what's really hard to account for is all the environmental changes, all the differences that happen. Look, it's that we're afraid to fail. So you're kind of building in failure and fixing all into one and taking it off of the user and giving them that confidence that it's not about the environment. It's not about those changes, right?
Absolutely. It's about what you want to do. It's not what you think you have to do. It's just get on with your job. That's why you're there. That's the bit you love. So go do what you love and let us take care of the rest.
Yeah, let us reduce the noise and you get to doing what you love to do, building things and making sure they're built right. Now, I'm going to jump it over to Zach here because Zach, you hit on one of my two of my favorite topics, man. So one was automation. So adding a lot of those points and pieces in like hangers and whatnot in automatically. Why are you guys really approaching it that way?
So I really needed a before point. So there's actually quite a few different ways. First, the user out in the field, they want that information. They don't just want to lay out a hanger. They want to know the rod length, the diameter, what hanger number it is. All that information we're pulling out of that model automatically. We're not telling it it's a 6-inch wall. It knows it's a 6-inch wall. So I think that's one huge portion is just the information out to the field. Is we need a point to define that. And that's really kind of been the workflow for 40 years now. But we're pulling that information directly out of the model in an automated fashion. But the other huge portion of it is obviously the coordinates are accurate to what you model, and so you can trust, hey, that AutoCAD or Revit model, we're building off of that. But then it's more of that round trip workflow that's important to me. So you go out in the field, you collect that point, whether it's good or bad, whatever the case is. If you want to bring those points back into the model, you need a before reference. And this allows you to do deviation checking, so you can see the difference of before versus after. Why was that point a foot off when all these other points were an inch off? So that's a huge portion of it. The other part that I really care about is updating the model for as-builts. So we have some really automated features that I love that I really what it allows you to do is update that model content with real world coordinates. So if you want your sleeves or your hangers to actually move to where they were installed, you can do that in a matter of seconds. And there's some other kind of as-built-in workflows where you can create models from points. So you go out in the field and collect anything that you have lots of, like sleeves or hangers. You can import points in and associate geometry or a family to a point. And then boom, you have 400 piers in your project or 500 sleeves, perfectly accurate. So long story, yeah, there's a lot of reasons for points.
The passion comes out, man. There's a lot of reasons for it going forwards and going backwards, and I really dig that. And you heard Alex before, so a lot of these points are tying through from what just the BLK 360 and the integrations do to this more constructability, more enterprise grade, so to speak, from my IT terms there. But there was one more piece I wanted to hear from you on, Zach. You kind of mentioned it. We're all trying to solve this problem of the learning curve and getting people in the industry. And, you didn't use the word, but I'm going to use it. It's the gamification. You called it that kind of video game effect. And why has that been important to you guys?
Well, we're kind of playing, on the mobile apps that we've developed in the past, because we saw the visualization and just the team being able to look at the model out in the field, get a quick dimension, get a quick markup, and just being able to see it visually in the field. We're doing that same thing with layout. So we're getting all that extra information, all that extra visualization capability, but we're really expanding it. So now you can do anything else at that same workflow. And and yeah, we talk about the gamification part, but it's critical when you're in a 2D view. I want the data and the location for where I'm at, and just tell me where I need to go. I don't want to have to hit buttons. I want it to be a productive, efficient workflow. And that's really how we've built the points. So we sort them by what's nearest to you. And we can sort them by an elevation or a tolerance or filters that matter to what you're trying to build. I don't want thousands of points that don't matter on level 5 when I'm just on level 1 working on hangars. So it's really optimizing all of those and automating those workflows, so when the user does get in the model and sets up on site, all he cares about is how do I get to 0? How do I go find that point? And yeah, I think those are the big focuses right now, just ease of use and getting the user able to get set up really quick.
That's awesome. That's a lot of what we hear out in the field is that it's too hard, or, there's a lot of barriers to adopting it. And you guys are partnering together to kind of remove the barriers. Troy, this has got to be eating at you to talk about what you can show when they're there. So give them one more preview and where they can find you, because, I'm going to be coming to see you at that. I always go to the Leica booth, guys. I have to go there because when I got into this, I just nerd out on it because I didn't understand it, guys, before I got here. And every time I get on one of these, I learn more. I get that extra piece. So, Troy, let us know, what might you be going on, and then remind everybody where they can find you.
Yeah, we really have a pretty exciting display there. We're very excited about it. So on the layout side of the business, we'll be highlighting the ICR 70 and 80, and have some folks there being able to walk folks through the use of that, some on-site demos. That's going to be fun. They're just a fantastic robot. Great product that we launched this year, so we're super excited about that. In terms of our reality capture business, there's we have a lot of excitement following the BLK 360 with the RTC 360, which is it's hard not to talk about that. It's a absolute game changer in the industry, and so please stop by. We've got a couple of our team from the building construction group that'll be there, and they are excited to get there and show people how just the process in using the RTC has been a game changer. How much easier it is to use. Again, I think I mentioned earlier, we'll have some measuring tools and some innovations there. So we've got a lot to show. I think we have continued to innovate, but this year has been a great year for us at Leica in bringing some fantastic new tools to the market.
I feel like that's every year for you guys. And what I love is that you actually have it out there. And so, I got my hands on the BLK 360. I've had my hands on a couple of the other things you guys have done. So if you folks are joining us at Connect and Construct, if you were thinking about it and you're on the fence and you're listening to this, I'm hoping you're falling off the fence and coming out there and joining us. Not only is it a great location, but you can see the passion from these three gentlemen on the products. And what I like is the partnership, right? You're bringing hardware, software together, and you're not just solving a single problem to make a little bit of money. You're actually solving problems that are affecting our built world. And what we all really want to do is affect that built world in a positive way, bring more people in, and show that collaboration is much stronger than all of us working on our own. Trying to integrate outside of the lines is very difficult. So I appreciate all of you guys joining us today, talking about the integrations and really moving it forward. I can let you go all day, but we got to take it back and talk about where we're headed next. So everybody listening, join in and thanking Shane and Zach and Troy for joining us today. And make sure you get out there and catch them at Connect and Construct. So you're welcome, guys. I appreciate it. So I'm going to ask Mr. Rob McKinney to join me again, and Mr. Josh to join us as well, so we can really kind of give you guys a preview. That's what we all wanted to talk about, is what we're looking forward to at Connect and Construct this year. And Shane's going to stay with us because, oh, no, he dropped off, but we're going to stick around and have a little bit of fun here. So Rob, why don't you kick it off a little bit while I catch back up and catch my breath from that crazy talk, and talk to me about some of the learning sessions that you might be looking forward to?
I went through the schedule and I've picked out a couple that I'm very interested in. That Monday is packed full of sessions. So how do you pick one really? Well, my finger landed on a couple. The first one's going to be the layout model coordination session. Now that's going to feature Assemble Systems, TopCon, and Sigma Systems. Maybe they'll come join us later in the week for some interviews and share some of those nuggets they're going to drop on stage. Then the second one, I've definitely got my eye on reality capture. That's going to feature 3DR, Hollow Builder, and SmartBid. Now, those are some platforms we've had hands-on. We've done a lot of demos with. Jeff, I'm kind of wondering, you think Vinny might be able to make a virtual appearance on stage for SmartBid, or are we there yet? Can we do that?
Are you talking about my favorite AI, Vinny AI, buddy?
Who are you talking about?
Who are you talking about? What are you talking about? I build things, man. I'm just an AI for making things built and built right, right? I mean, you think we might have to take another one of them shots with the gloves and see what we can get? See how many people in the background they might be able to pick up? See if everybody wore their PPE with them?
I think we could go for a supersized photo. If you didn't see it last year, it's out there. There was 33 violations picked up in one photo. I think we can go supersize this year. Can we get 100, or maybe can we get 1,000 violations in one photo? I think if there's enough hands and faces, we might just get there.
Now, we might be able to get to that, right? And what else? I mean, let's talk about Hollow Builder for a second, all right? People talk about, these platforms that we're talking about, these solutions. Hollow Builder does some really interesting things for us, and we saw them last year and we got to work with them a little bit. We've all worked with them. What are you looking forward to with them this year?
The tours. It's always fascinating for me to sit back and look at how, at the core level, they're putting up a 2D plan that they're dropping these 360 photos or videos on. But how could you continue to leverage that workflow on a job site? I mean, literally from the beginning of what if you're going out to look at an estimate or an RFP, all the way through your core workflows for quality control, or even the back end of a safety incident, warranties. How much further are they going to push that? Because the ultimate question, really, right now they're dropping a 360 photo on a PDF. When's that going to get inside a BIM?
Oh, did you just use the BIM word?
I did. I use it lightly because, as we all know, it's not the world I tread in lightly. But I'm very curious. When can you put a 360 photo inside of BIM and really take this thing on steroids? Maybe Mo will have a little nugget for us this year in Vegas.
You never know. And, this is the event of the year to bring those nuggets to drop on everybody. And, there's no better way for me really to look at this starting. I said earlier on the call here that Connect and Construct last year was my introduction to Autodesk University. So, to the uninitiated, I had never been before. So I got to go, and we got this opportunity to go to Connect and Construct. And what I thought was really interesting about it for me, not only was the keynotes, and let me tell you, little teaser here coming. There's some great people involved in the keynotes, and Josh and I'll talk about them a little bit. But what I thought was really cool was that it kind of set the stage for what we heard throughout all of Autodesk University. It was very construction focused, but what you're seeing is this emerging convergence between all the sides of Autodesk and kind of all the manufacturing, industrial, everything sort of coming together and following very similar themes. And to me, those themes just kind of rang throughout. You heard them on stage, whether they were talking about construction or whether they were talking about the other areas of Autodesk. Because if you guys didn't realize, Autodesk is a lot bigger than just construction. And those themes are great to see that all converging together. But to kick us off, now those of you who know the crew know that we talk about abundance theory a lot. Now, we cannot take credit for the abundance theory thinking. We are definitely fans of Peter Diamandis. Dr. Peter Diamandis, if you haven't listened, we had him on recently. I'm extremely excited because, I was unable to make that event. So I will be making this event, and I will be front and center to listen to thought leader Dr. Peter Diamandis. I mean, Rob, you had him on to talk to him. How excited are you to see him around too?
Oh, very much so. He talked about some crazy concepts. He talked about some things that are actually here and now. He laid out to us how he recently participated in a VR presentation. That's right. He was scanned Then people came to his office, set up some equipment, put him in a headset, and he opened his eyes and joined his co-presenter in a virtual room to 200 people. I want to understand how that works real quick.
Yeah, right. That was some here and now technology that I can sink my teeth into, being that we do this for a living. So that would be pretty cool. Turn those VR headsets around. And he's also dropping a lot of bombs on the construction world and really trying to help innovate. I mean, one of the things Peter's all about is creating an environment in which people can succeed. And I've been to a few of his speeches before. Everybody leaves all fired up, and I think it's just going to be a great way for everybody to kick it off and learn where he's coming from. And now, near and dear to my heart, and I was extremely excited to see this edition, is Lorian Barlow is going to be talking from Hard Hatted Woman. And what Lorian has been able to do and been working on for the last few years is they're building a feature-length film around women in the trades, not just women in construction in the office, but these are the women that have joined the workforce and make up the only 3% of the workforce actually out in the field working on the tools doing the heavy labor. She was able to follow them around and get a really good look at what it takes to not only get over the gender stereotype gaps and the other things that they deal with, but to really become legitimate and to legitimize the woman in construction. And that's going to be a theme around Autodesk, and I think she's just going to really kick it into gear at Connect and Construct to really start it off. So I'm personally looking forward to it. If you guys are there, not only going to be doing that as you're going to see Lorian at the beginning, but there's also a couple of other women in construction talks, and there's actually a special reception. And I know, guys, that you're out there listening to me, they need us as well. This isn't just about women. This is about championing a cause, because we have a problem, don't we? We have not enough people in the industry in general. So why are we looking at a whole gender and saying they might not be able to make it? We need to make it better for them to be successful, because in the end, that makes us all successful. And men, we have an opportunity here to become advocates and come alongside and really help that process out. Josh, that's got to get you stoked up. I mean, we're stealing the microphone. You got to watch us here. What do you got looking forward to, man?
Yeah, lots of different sessions. I'll be helping out with 6 different sessions, 3 for Connect and Construct, and then 3 also at AU. So it is a jam-packed week for me. A couple things worth highlighting. Jim Lynch, our general manager of our construction business unit, will also be leading the keynote. I can't think of a better person than Jim, really leading that session and providing not only the direction of where our product is headed, but then also a lot of the ongoing successes that we're having with BIM 360.
So you guys are gonna be talking about past, future, present. It's a combination of everything, right? I mean, this event isn't just a futurist event.
Absolutely. Whether it's sharing success stories with customers or getting direct feedback from people that are using our applications and presenting around it. One thing that's near and dear to my heart, Jeff, is the ecosystem of integration partnerships that we've built out. Last year we launched it. This year we'll have somewhere north of 50 or 60 different integrations that will be live and available, and several more in either a coming soon or beta phase. So whether you're talking about field applications, ERPs, augmented mixed reality setups, daily log tracking tools, point cloud solutions, it is a smattering of all kinds of cool applications.
Well, and you just kind of hit on it, Rob. You and I went nuts in that area last year, even though you were a little under the weather, which we're hoping to all be together and feeling good this year. You were still, that got you up and going, didn't it?
A wise man once talked about a theory called app alchemy, right? How do you connect all these amazing things? So you don't have to hack them anymore. They have these APIs that actually directly connect these amazing pieces of software, even through to the hardware. So maybe we get some early tells of what we're going to find out, because I'm sure there's a few booths we need to drop into and ask a lot of questions.
Well, I mean, for me, Josh, this is what was so cool is we see a lot of vaporware out there, Oh, I said it. Uh-oh, be careful. But what was so cool about the integration zone last year for me was I was able to walk up and actually I had an account on a couple, and SmartVid being one of them we just talked about with our friend Vinny AI. I was able to click a few buttons and I was integrated. It wasn't smoke and mirrors. It was done right there in front of me. And then, we had our friend Josh Canner from SmartVid on later on to talk about it and talk about the importance of that easy one-click integration there, guys. So those things, when you get to Connect and Construct, it's not that you're just learning about what's going on. You got a shot to go in there and interact with those vendors and really put your hands on things. And you don't get that at every event. A lot of them are, well, we can do this and I'll get you a webinar and I'll connect with you after. Nah, this is Josh. This is get your hands dirty, isn't it? Yeah, we love that piece. And, I can't let my guy go. We had him on the show, 2 weeks ago now, Rob? From this little company outside of Chicago, Mechanical Inc., Travis Voss. Travis has been doing a lot of things, and I think you guys over the next year are going to hear a lot more out of Mechanical Inc. and Travis Voss. And Travis is going to be joining us on the stage to really kick it off from that specialty trade contractor where, the talking about what we just talked about with layout in the field and hangars, this really affects them, and they're really taking advantage of not only, the hardware, but they're taking advantage of the software and the integrations. And I think Travis is going to really put that at the forefront of the conversation. So I know I'm looking forward to it. Josh, what else do you got that you're looking forward to?
Yeah, a big thing that we're going to be highlighting this year is our integration partnerships, obviously, but not just the connective tissue between one app and BIM 360, but really completing workflows. So multiple products across the entire project lifecycle, pushing and pulling data in and out of BIM 360, and really, providing you a central repository of data, but then how you can use it in these third-party best-of-breed applications. So really excited to see our customers and our partners working together to not only explore the existing workflows that are out there, but then also throwing down and discovering new opportunities.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the greatness of when you're actually got stuff that's connected together and working. It gives you an opportunity to spark interest when you get minds together, right? Everybody, if anybody's gone to one of those events where you try and get out of the escape room and you try to do it by yourself, you're pretty much in the room at the end. But you bring a group of people together and everybody gets out. And that's because we're just all smarter when we're together, and we're taken away from our day to day, and we're given and presented with new opportunities to take that in and look at how you can solve those real industry problems from tip to tail. And what I always love is you guys solve those problems and push that best in breed through, but you're sitting there on that Forge platform to get her done. And then underneath there, we know you have insights in there. So there's really some analytics behind the back end, and that's where the industry is going to really everybody rise up a bit, is when we start to take that information and start that data and turn it into real information that we can get actionable in the future. So I mean, I could go on and on and on about what we're going to see while we're there, but I'll be stealing it. Rob, what else do you got?
I think we're going to have some interviews. Last year, we completed a couple dozen. This year, we're going to go just a little bit bigger. We're going to talk, actually, we're going to kick it off. We're going to start with another podcast that has a design focus, more of the engineering focus. The guys from Unprofessional Engineering, we're going to talk to them.
Wait a minute. Are you talking about a mashup?
I'm talking about a crossover.
A crossover? Wait a minute. I mean, just like we were talking, how that crosses. Oh, we're gonna take the lead there and do a little crossover.
Why not? Talk to their audience. They talk to our audience. Let's see, why are they there? They'll learn why we're there and kind of kick it off. Kind of an icebreaker podcast, right?
I love the Icebreaker podcast, and I've been looking forward to it. So you guys know we share the booth with Unprofessional Engineering, and that rising tide lifts all ships. So we're really excited this year to have them on with us and have a good discussion. I mean, you can tell we like to talk.
Just a little bit. So we're also going to talk to Assemble Systems, Smart.io. We have the director from Hard Hatted Women. We're going to talk to Rumbix, Manufacton, ESUB, Hollow Builder, Victolic. I think we're going to be near the range of 30 different talks, maybe a little more, maybe some pop-ups, maybe some surprises. It's the crew at AU. It's hard for us not to find a camera or a microphone in front of us, right?
Yeah, I mean, Josh, you're ready. We're going to bring a microphone, put it in your face, aren't we?
Yeah, last year you guys did it with boxers and knee socks, so I'm excited to see what happens this year.
Oh, he just dropped a nugget, Rob. You know, we always pull something at AU. And I will tell you, you're not going to find out what that is on this webinar, guys. You're just going to have to show up and join the crew at AU, guys. I am so excited about that lineup, Rob. I mean, what I love about it is they all seem to build on one another as we go throughout the day. You find out from one person that you got on, you got Mo from Hollow Builder on, dropping some knowledge, and then you're bringing in Lorian, so she's talking about what's really happening in the field. I am just extremely excited. And then, to bring those people back, like Roggy that we talked from Manufacton. I mean, I can be honest here and open. When I talked to him last time, I was behind, man. I was just trying to keep up. Now I've got some real formulated questions. So I hope those of you that joined us last year can bring those new questions. Reach out to us. You'll find us on social media out there, guys. We can really engage and talk and, bring those questions, bring those ideas. This is a great event for it. So, Rob, what else do we got there? I mean, it's not just interviews, presentations, and one integration room, right? Josh, we've got a village, don't we? It takes a village, right?
That's right. That's right. We're going to have over 15 of our integration partners there, displaying their applications, walking people through demos, showing how the integrations work. We've got our sister conference going on at the exact same time, DevCon. So that's an exciting one, especially for anyone that kind of walks that line between construction and technology, can attend both sessions, access to both conferences. So whether you want to hear about APIs and how they impact the construction space, or get a heads up from our Forge team, access to both teams there. So that's a big one. We'll have our Connect and Construct Theater. So that's a huge one. Those are going to essentially amount to lightning round demonstrations and talks from our different partners. And then included in that theater, we're going to have Insight VR. So they'll be showing some of their virtual reality and some of the workflows that they go through. And then also, maybe a preview nugget here, Ian Turner, he's going to be dropping a pretty big bombshell at AU this year. So I'll tease it out there. Won't go into all the details.
Oh, he's teasing out there. Now, he talked about DevCon. And this one's kind of near and dear to me because I love what you talked about with those folks that straddle the line. As I've learned the industry a bit and looked at our VDC and BIM modelers out there, they really are somewhere in between the code and the construction, and they kind of dabble in both areas. So I think you've offered up kind of a cool space. So for those of you out there listening, if you're a developer or you're that VDC person that's really interested in both sides, you can get the best of both worlds. And to management that might be listening or looking for that last thing to push them off the edge, you can get a twofer, and everybody loves a twofer. Send them to both. They get an opportunity to look at both things and really integrate across. And those developers do really well when they're in that integration zone, looking at how people use it and going back and thinking about how they might use it. So there's just so much going on to get brains going. And Rob, before we let him go today, because we're getting close to the end here, there's a little other thing that we might have going from the crew here, thanks to Josh and the guys at AU.
Well, speaking of interviews, are you doing some really cool work? Do you have things that you'd like to kind of talk about? What I'm getting at, would you like to do an interview with the crew at AU? We got a little contest going. You might have seen it on LinkedIn. So, hey, if you want to enter to win, create a short video, less than a minute, we're talking 60 seconds, and post that on LinkedIn. Here's the rules of engagement. We need your name, the company name. What did you like best about Connect to Construct last year? Yes, this is a contest for returning attendees only, kind of VIP package. Then we want to know, what are you looking forward to most about this year's event? So take that video, push it up to LinkedIn, use the hashtag join the crew at AU, and we're going to select one first place winner to interview live on the air. So if you're afraid of cameras, this might not be for you, but if you have something awesome, something very innovative you want to talk about, let us know. And hey, by the way, we'll have a couple runner-up prizes. They may be to hold beverages.
Maybe some beverage holders. Now, if you're on the fence, don't worry. The crew doesn't bite. We're real good at bringing people along, right, Josh? We're good at a good interview. We make people feel comfortable. Didn't we do that today?
Oh yeah, warm fuzzies from you guys.
I love it, man. And I love everybody you brought on. We really appreciate being a part of Connect and Construct and being a part of AU. I'm going to let everybody go and get back to your day. I hope to look forward to seeing you at Connect and Construct and at Autodesk University this year. Come by the crew and check us out, talk to us. We love to interact with everybody. I want to thank everybody for joining us today for the crew at AU, a preview for Connect and Construct. The crew's looking forward to seeing you all next week in Vegas, baby. So remember to follow along the crew to keep up with the latest news from Connect and Construct Summit and Autodesk University. You can follow us at the ConTechCrew. Rob's at Con App Guru, and I'm at Iron Man of IT. This is the ConTech Crew reminding you that construction starts here.